Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see your faces today, and welcome online as well. Welcome so much to Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Keawe, and Sugary peoples. We honor them. My name is Elaine Deck, and I am grateful to be the worship assistant this morning for the Reverend Dr. Amy Rio. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We're the progressive spiritual community you've been seeking. To all of our visitors and our members, we're very glad you're here, whether in person or with us online, and we do hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. A few announcements for this Sunday. The church is having a covered dish luncheon 1 week from today after the worship service here at the University Gathering with a Halloween theme. So we want to see you, ghouls and all. There's more information in your order of service about the event, so please check on that. Reverend Amy is offering a class on spiritual journey this Saturday from 10 to noon for people who are interested in possible membership here at Piedmont UU Church. And please let her know if you would like to attend. For other important information about our vibrant community, please see either your order of service, if you're on our email list, you can check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. And now, whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Hear now these words from Eric Walker Wickstrom. Here today, in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves in this world. May the chalice that we light our way. I invite you to please join me in singing the words to lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith.
May
I invite you to please rise in body or spirit for our call to worship. Come to this place, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of learning, all seekers after what is true, all who seek a community of compassion and diversity. Come to this place, whoever you are, lovers of wisdom, lovers of humanity, lovers of beauty.
Come to this place where our love we do not make surrounds us and lives us and nurtures us.
Come to this place, whoever you are. Ours is not a community of despair, but of hope. Not a place of judging, but of thanksgiving. Not a place of certainty, but of searching. Come to this place, whoever you are. Come yet again, come. Our opening hymn is found in our gray hymnal, number 352, Find a Stillness. Please be seated and invite any young ones to please come forward for a time for all ages.
Good morning. Good morning, Harley. I love your blue hair. Just like your mom. It looks great. So today, the skeleton earrings, those are pretty cool skeleton earrings, huh? Your mom has skeleton earrings. I also have skeleton earrings. I'm just not wearing them today. I should have, though. Then we could have been twins. Well, Harley, I have a book for you today. It's called Be Kind. It's by Pat Zietlow Miller, illustrated by Jen Hill. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. I'm going to try to figure out how to hold this. There we go. Tanisha spilled grape juice yesterday, all over her new dress. Everyone laughed. I almost did too. But Mom always tells me to be kind, so I tried. I don't think it worked. I said, "Purple is my favorite color." I thought Tanisha would smile, but she ran out into the hall instead. And when she came back, snack time was over. She put on her art smock and didn't look at anyone. I almost told Tanisha that art was my favorite class, but I didn't want her to leave again. So I painted purple splotches and added some green until I had a bunch of beautiful violets. While I painted, I thought about Tanisha. Should I have handed her my napkin, let her borrow my sweatshirt, spilled my juice so everyone stared at me instead? What does it mean to be kind anyway? Maybe it's giving, making cookies for Mr. Rinaldi who lives alone, letting someone with smaller feet have my too tight shoes. He might win races in them too. Maybe it's helping, putting dirty dishes in the sink, cleaning up after Otis, our class guinea pig. He's a messy eater. Maybe it's paying attention, telling Desmond I like his blue boots, asking the new girl to be my partner, listening to Aunt Franny's stories, even the ones I've heard before. Being kind should be easy, like throwing away a wrapper or recycling a bottle or saying thank you, bless you. My mom says the quickest way to be kind is to use people's names. Being kind can be hard, too, even when you know what to do. Teaching someone something I'm good at is tricky, even when I'm patient. And sticking up for someone when others aren't kind is really hard and really scary. Maybe I can't solve Tanisha's grape juice problem. Maybe all I can do is sit by her in art class and paint this picture for her because I know she likes purple too. Maybe I can only do small things, but my small things might join the small things other people do, and together they could grow into something big. Something really big, so that all our kindness spill out of our school, spread throughout the town, travel across the country, and go all the way around the world. Right back to Tanisha and me, so we can be kind again and again and again. Now, Harley, I have a question for you. What is your favorite way to be kind to somebody?
It's by eating up quickly so I can get Scooby gummies.
Eating quickly so you can get Scooby gummies? I think that's a really great way of being kind, especially to the people waiting for you to be done eating. At this time, I want to invite, if we have anyone here who is between the ages of 6 to 11, we are offering our first Children's RE class today. I'm not seeing anyone, and that's okay, maybe next time. But I just wanted to let everyone know that here at University, we are trying to offer Children's RE every Sunday, and I'm still looking for more volunteers to help out and be the second adult in the room. So if you're interested, hit me up, madia@puuc.org. Thank you, everyone.
We are so excited to have our RE classes starting back for children 6 through 11. You know, there's a number who are involved with our church today, involved with our church in recent months. So we are so excited to be able to move forward with our religious education program for our wonderful children here. So now at this time, we are entering to a time for our ritual and sacred sharing. We share joys, milestones, sorrows, and concerns. So we light candles this week, and we light a candle first for everyone who's been impacted by the recent hurricanes, and it's especially for ongoing rescue efforts in the mountains. We light a candle for an end to the epidemic of gun violence, for an end to political violence and rhetoric, and for a peaceful democratic process in our country, for the relief of the people of Gaza, for all areas of violence around the world, especially Haiti, the Sudan, the Middle East, and the war in Ukraine. Now, at this time, you are invited to come forward as you would like to do so. You may come forward along the far wall. We have our prayer stand here. You may fill out a card to place on the prayer stand with any joy or concern. You may light a candle, or you may simply place a stone in our shared water. We now light a few more candles for the things we hold in our hearts which remain unspoken, and also for those who are joining us virtually to honor what is in their hearts as well. At this time, we will have a period of quiet rest, meditation, or prayer. And during this time of silence, I invite you to settle into your seat, to deepen your breath. And as you pay attention to your breath, slowly going in and out, to listen to that inner divine light, and to listen for what it has to say for you today.
This morning's wisdom reading are words from Thich Nhat Hanh. Deep listening is the kind of listening that can help relieve the suffering of the other person. We can call it compassionate listening. You listen with only one purpose, to help him or her to empty their heart. And if you remember that you are helping him or her to suffer less, then even if they say things full of wrong perceptions, full of bitterness, you are still capable of continuing to listen with compassion, because you know that listening like that, with compassion, you give them a chance to suffer less. If you want to help him or her correct their perception, then you wait for another time. But for this, the time being, you just listen with compassion and help him or her to suffer less.
Thank you, Elaine. So for the month of October, our theme is deep listening. And today's focus, of course, compassionate listening. As I was thinking, meditating on this topic, I remembered many years ago when I entered seminary as a young 22-year-old right out of college. Now, Divinity School is filled with a wide variety of classes, things from homiletics, which is how to preach, to studying different religious texts, church history, all sorts of historical context, pastoral care classes. Now, the pastoral care classes I found to be some of the most helpful. Really liked all my classes. I loved those 3 years. But I was really looking for some good help in these pastoral care classes. Now, we would cover a lot of things in those classes, but one thing that we always did is for different things that we were studying, we would have some role-playing scenarios. Or one student would pretend they were, or imagining they were having some kind of difficult scenario. Perhaps they've lost their job, or they are grieving the death of someone they love. And then the other student would pretend that, or imagine, they were providing pastoral care. And so this conversation would ensue. Now, with all of these scenarios, my classmates and I had one big thing in common. We were hoping that these scenarios would help us figure out how to, quote, say the right thing, right? We wanted to know whatever formula there was for us to say the right thing in these different situations, the exact right words, no matter what we would encounter in life. And I think we all know that does not exist, does it? Yeah. There's no set formula about what to say when someone is in pain or suffering or needs someone to listen to them. Now, we did learn some things not to say, things that could do harm, like everything happens for a reason, or, well, God knows that you can handle this when someone else couldn't, or this is part of God's plan for you. I'm sure all of us have heard some form of those statements said to us at some point, or perhaps in a well-intentioned way we have said that to others. Now, while we did not get little formulas of things to say in that class, one thing we did learn, the most important thing that we learned, was how to listen. Compassionate listening is far more helpful than some pithy saying or empty words of sympathy. We can think about times where we have had some challenges in our lives and people who were there for us, we don't really remember what they said. We remember how it felt for them to be with us during those times. Compassionate listening is not about saying the right words. It is about creating a safe space so that someone might truly be heard. Whether they feel they can share anything, a space where they can feel they can share anything without judgment or someone jumping in to fix things. So what makes a compassionate listener? Now, our wisdom reading today is from Thich Nhat Hanh, a very well-known Buddhist monk and teacher. And a central tenet of Buddhism is to live in a way that relieves suffering. Relieves suffering. Our reading today explores listening in a way that relieves suffering. And that means listening without trying to fix or correct. I think we all know that's a lot easier for us to stand here and say this than for it actually to be done. If we are listening to someone who is in pain, who is in need, but they say something that might just seem wrong to us or might offend us, it is so tempting to counter that in some way. And we know that we live in a society where people speaking their opinion is held up as far more important than relieving someone's pain. So how do we even begin to become someone who listens compassionately? Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, by listening compassionately to yourself, you have started to come home to yourself. Just like everything, it begins at home. Compassionate listening begins with us. As we learn how to listen compassionately to ourselves, we learn how to listen compassionately to others. So Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, I'm going to continue the quote I just gave you. By listening compassionately to yourself, you have started to come home to yourself. Going home to yourself requires only sitting down and being with yourself, accepting the situation as it is. Yes, it might be a mess in there, but we accept it because we know we have left home for a long time. So now we're home with our in-breath and our out-breath, our mindful breathing. We begin to tidy up our homes. Listening to ourselves, listening compassionately to ourselves, begins with a simple breath. Clearing our mind of all the clutter of our world. Simply breathing and listening to what comes forward. And that means we do so without judgment. Not saying unkind things to ourselves about thoughts or actions, but being compassionate. As we are listening to our inner selves, we can imagine that we are as a child. I can imagine I'm a little girl. And the things I may think to myself, the judgments I may offer to myself on occasion, like, oh, Amy, that was just, that was a stupid thing to do. I mean, right? We've all said those kind of things. Imagine that I'm a little girl. Would I say that to her? Absolutely not. And so that's the way I should speak to myself and listen to myself as well. The world is hard enough on us. We don't need to be hard on ourselves and pile on more harm. So we practice compassionate listening by first listening to ourselves. Each day, times of silence or meditation, simply to listen to ourselves in a kind way. And from there, we share this compassionate listening with the world around us. We take time truly to listen to others. When we are engaging with another person, we really focus on that person. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with the mic, but yeah, okay. Right. So when we are engaging with another person, we take time truly to listen. We focus on them. And we all know there's so much that people say that is not spoken in words. Times we need to read between the lines or pay attention to their body language. We truly focus on others, truly listen to them. We value their stories and perspectives. We open our hearts to try to put ourselves in their shoes, hearing their words from their perspective as best as we can. Now, we don't offer judgment or solutions. Now, as we are compassionately and deeply listening to another, there might be things that occur to us, some resources or assistance that we know, oh, this could be really helpful to that person. But we first need to listen as fully as we can. Healing comes in part from fully being heard. And if we jump in too soon, we can harm that process. And then once we believe that someone has been able to share as fully as they can, and we have heard them as compassionately as we can, then we might know of a resource or a system or some way that could be helpful to them, and we can share that. And the truth is, while each of us might have some ideas or resources this person might be unfamiliar with, the truth is that each one of us, we all have our own inner wisdom. That divine light shines brightly within each person. Compassionate listening helps each person better connect to their own inner divine light, to their own inner wisdom, the best source of wisdom they have. So I have some homework this week and in the coming days. Let's each one of us practice compassionate listening to ourselves. Because we know once we can start to get more of the hang of this with ourselves, we're going to naturally be able to do that with others. Let's just take a few minutes each day to sit, to breathe, and to listen to what is inside us. And as Thich Nhat Hanh says, we all know it's a mess in there. That's the nature of being human. But when the judgment comes, acknowledge it and then let it release it to the winds. Imagine we are a little child and practice compassionate kindness to ourselves. And I would love to hear from you in the coming days and weeks as you are experiencing this. What comes up for you? Anything that you would like to share, I'd love to hear how this practice goes. Now, as we practice compassionate listening to ourselves, we will discover that compassionate listening flows so much more easily to the world around us. And we give thanks for that. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. As many of you know, the month of October is when we have our Generosity Pledge campaign. And if you are a member, you have already received email and also a paper packet in your snail mail, I guess. There's so many different types of mail these days, aren't there? So that is from our generosity team talking about our goals for this year so that we can have all of our members pledge. And as our finance committee is coming up with our budget, which of course our membership will vote on at our annual meeting in December, that we will know what we can expect for our pledges. And that really helps us as we make decisions. We have a wonderful staff of 5 now. We have a beautiful, amazing building. We have so many great programs and social justice activities. There's so many wonderful things taking place here at the church. And I do want to remind you, if you've not made your pledge yet and you're contemplating, I'm not exactly sure I'm going to make, we do have a poster in the back which gives some ideas about percentage, and that's on the back wall. So you can always take a look at that as well. Now, Anna has been joined a new member of our generosity team this year, and has just been a very important part of that. And so for this month, every Sunday we're having a generosity moment where a member comes forth and talks about why they support our church. So we invite Anna to come forth now. And y'all can get to see how Harley got the blue hair, so the matching blue hair. So.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm Anna Wright and have been a member here for around a year, but I actually grew up UU, so I've been a UU my whole life. Growing up UU allowed me a very unique experience with a number of things, but especially religions and belief systems. To an extent, growing up UU allows a completely outside perspective to any major belief system. I didn't have any of the negative experiences that I often heard people talk about having come from major religions to the UU Church, but I also didn't have any of those positive milestones that sometimes take place in the traditions that were associated with it. My family was free. My family and I were free to search for and define our truth without any limitations of any previous rules or systems. RE taught me about major world religions and belief systems, as well as giving me the skills to critically think about their practices, and this allowed me to truly see where I fit with my beliefs, as well as appreciate that overall, we as humans really all want the same things from life. We want to be treated well. We want others to typically be treated well. We want to take care of our environments, our families, and a lot of this is often reflected in the belief systems that we're a part of. This was one of the main reasons I wanted to come back to a UU community after we had Harley. I am so grateful for that space I had as a kid and teenager to truly explore where I was in a spiritual journey. Did I want a spiritual journey? Which direction do I want to go on that journey? It's also a large part of me understanding who I was and how I wanted to travel through life. Being with other people my own age, going through the same journey in that safe space was truly special. That safe space of critical thinking and challenging accepted practices of belief and execution of those beliefs is what I pledge for Harley, for all Piedmont UU Church youth that are now or to come in the future. Please join me in supporting our pledge campaign as we unite in love for truly the future of Piedmont UUC. If you haven't pledged yet, there will be an email going out with a link for that, so keep an eye out if that's coming to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Let there now be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us. It's a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of that dream. This month, we're sharing our offering plate with You Can Vote. You Can Vote trains and mobilizes volunteers to educate, register, and empower all North Carolina citizens to successfully cast their votes. We ask that you place your gift in the basket as they make their way around the room. Of course, you're always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we give thanks for your generous spirits and for all the many ways that you help support this wonderful congregation and beloved community. I invite you now to please rise and body your spirit, for our closing hymn is found in your Teal hymnal number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who help make our worship service possible. I also ask that if you will take the hymnals and place them on the cart by the piano at the end of the service, that is a big help. Let us do as we do each Sunday and take a few moments to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words, for all the things for which we are grateful today.
I had an operation a year ago for cancer, and I just found out this week that it has not come back.
Yay! So for all those at home, many of you remember Gail had an operation for cancer a year ago and found out this week that it's not come back. So
I'd like to thank all the people in our beloved community have listened to me over the years.
thank you. People who've listened to Lane, and for all of us that you have listened to us too. Thank you. So. For community. Mom and fiance come today. Glad to have you too. Thank you.
For your message today.
Oh, thank you for my message. Thank you. Yes, for music which brings people together. I'm grateful for wonderful fall weather, my favorite time of the year. So. I know we are grateful for all these things and so much more which we hold in our hearts today. Hear now this closing blessing written by Emily Gage. May we open our hearts and minds to one another and to the world. May we let ourselves be changed by the stories around us. May we deeply listen and be deeply listened to, and be held in silence and love. And so may it always be. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we may wander. May it be so. Now for our closing song, we form a circle. You may hold hands if you'd like to, or you may simply place your hands on your heart.